I'm the event marketing manager, and I'm thrilled to welcome this evening's guest. The title of his book is Just Don't Fall. Raise your hand here if you've seen some of his videos on YouTube. Okay, everyone, put those hands down, our hands together. Give a really warm welcome for Josh Sundquist.
Sweet, how you guys doing?
Good.
That's very enthusiastic. One of my pet peeves is like speakers, like especially in my business, like motivational speakers, and also like school principals do that a lot too. You know, like where you start a speech, you're like, "How you doing?" And everyone's like, "Good." But then the person's like, "I think you can do better than that. What are you doing?" And everyone's like, "Good." But it's not like the increase in volume is not an increase in enthusiasm. It's just like, oh, we are so mad at you. Why do you make us yell? It's very annoying. So anyway, thank you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate all you guys being here. Looks like most of you watched me on YouTube, so that's why you're here. How many of you have read Just Don't Fall? Okay, sweet. I'm trying to think if there's any other important survey items I need to ask of you. I don't think there are. FYI, in case anyone was wondering, feel free to film. Looks like a lot of people already are. Just in case you had any qualms, feel free to take whatever you want. And if you make a video and put it on YouTube, tweet it to me because I'd love to see it. What's that? You gonna do it? Appreciate that. Thank you. What's your Twitter handle? Fedora Art. All right, I'll be watching for it. Missy Soar. Oh, sweet. I'll be watching for. Or no, you don't have a camera. Okay, so put her in the video. Make sure. There we go. Good way. So then I eventually I posted it on YouTube and didn't really think about it. But then like over time it got like lots of views. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. So if you ever watch it, it's one of my very oldest videos. The quality is really bad. Obviously, it's not cut. There's no editing whatsoever. It's very like grainy. And the funny thing to me is that people always, multiple people in my life have been like, yeah, I saw that video of you when you're talking in a closet. And I'm always like, yeah, actually I just had a really small dorm room. That was not the closet. That was where I lived. It was really tiny. Someone ever told me. I was at it was a couple years ago, I was at the movies, and I was, I don't know, have you guys ever been at the movies when like the screen breaks? Has that ever happened to you guys? Yeah? Oh, what movie were you seeing? Do you know? Oh, okay. Slide. Wow. That's a very weird bond we have here.
I don't remember. I was going to see some little kids.
A little kid's movie. That's cute. That was very nice of you. What's your name?
Caroline.
Caroline.
I actually
No way! Oh, sweet! Awesome! Yeah! I told her, because she always sees me, I told her to make sure she like pointed herself out, because I'm always paranoid that I'm gonna like not recognize someone, and then they're gonna be like really sad or something. It almost happened last week when I was in New York. Do you guys know Kate Skye? You know Kate Skye? Yeah. So, like, I knew her like from the internet, and I was talking to like her and Karen Cavett and a couple of like nerd fighters, and like we talked for a really long time. And they were about to walk away, and I recognized Kate Skye, just barely. It was almost really embarrassing. Anyway, what am I talking about? Oh, the movie. Yeah. So you saw, yeah. So we're at this movie with my friends, and like the screen just like goes black, and it's like not working, obviously, and everyone's just like sitting in the theater, just kind of feeling very disgruntled at this movie that's not working. And you look up, and you know how in the top of a movie theater, there's always like this box that's like, you know, about here where the movie is projected out of. It's just this open area, and so we can see up that there's like some guys trying to fix the projector situation. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go scope this out, see what's going on, like if they're gonna fix this or whatever. So I go up there, and I had to like stand on, you know, like the top chair of the theater, and then just barely I could kind of like poke my head into their little room. And so I poked my head in, and I'm like, hey guys, like, what's going on? Are we gonna get this situation fixed? And one of the guys turns to me, he's like, whoa, this is very dangerous, what we're doing here. Please step back. if it blows up, it would blow your leg off. And like everyone in the theater around here is listening and can see that I have already had a leg blown off. And they're all like, oh. And I was just like, thank you for informing me of this. I would not want to lose a leg. Oh man, I really wish I had run into him like later. That would have been awesome. Didn't happen though. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, so we're actually talking about the urinal story. Yeah. So this guy walks in. So yeah, I was standing there. I'm like, oh, it's very annoying. It's not worth it to wear a real bow tie. This guy walks in, and he sees me standing there, right? And he doesn't know what to say. So he's just like, oh, it looks like you do pretty well with that. And my friends, I am so focused on my my bow tie that I am assuming he's talking about my ability to tie a real bow tie. And so I'm just like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. He's like, yeah. Now, 10 seconds later, he and I are standing at the urinals. It's a great place. I chose to just... let me urinate on my own book. That's great. So we're standing at the urinals side by side, and by side by side, I mean obviously there's one urinal in between us. Obviously, I know we have a lot of females here. Just to let you know, if you ever happen to be in a men's room choosing a urinal, don't ever stand beside someone else. That's just awful. It's so awkward. No one can pee. It's really bad. So there's a urinal in between us, and so I want to remind you that I am thinking about my bow tie, and he is thinking about my life. And so I'm standing there, and I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you something though. It's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult. And he's like, yeah, looks like it would be pretty difficult. And then I said, direct quote, I am not making this up. I'm like, yeah, in fact, tonight I've been feeling like it's just not even worth it anymore. This guy blatantly breaks the #1 rule of social interaction at urinals, makes eye contact. And he's like, son, it is always worth it. It's always worth it. I should tell you like one story from when I was that age, and this is a story. I've never put it on my YouTube channel, so a lot of you have probably not heard it, but it is in the book. So if you've read the book, then you probably read it. I was, so I lost my leg, obviously, as you know, to cancer when I was 9 years old. I was a big, really into sports as a kid. I really loved soccer. That was like my big sport, was playing soccer. And so after I lost my leg, are you guys wearing spring pop? Yeah, I totally recognize that. Yeah, I recognize your haircuts. Very distinctive. When did you guys just moved here recently, right? 2 weeks ago? Oh, geez, fresh off the boat. Well, welcome to LA, even though I don't live here, so I can't really welcome you. But congrats on you're in the station. Congrats on that. Way to go. Yeah, let's give them a hand. Woo! So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I lost my leg, and I lost the leg, but I was really eager to find the chance to like get back into sports, right? So I went about a month after I lost my leg to this church softball game that my church was having, and I remember I was kind of nervous about playing and how people were going to respond to me and whatnot. But I remember it was like a really big moment in my life. I sat my crutches down and I hopped over to the home plate when it was my turn to bat. Right, so I'm standing there and my balance is pretty good now, but at the time I just lost my leg, and when you lose a leg, your balance is way off because you lost 20 pounds on one side and you have to rebalance your center of mass over your foot. Right, so I'm standing there and I have to sort of hold the bat like a cane to steady myself. And you should know I was on chemotherapy, and so I didn't have hair. I wore a baseball cap, and I was really thin and just very sick. I probably weighed maybe 65 pounds then. and I was very pale and everything. So I was standing there like holding onto this bat until the moment when Pastor Smulin, who was the pitcher, pitched me this big underhanded throw. And so as the ball was coming through the air, I picked up the bat and put it on my shoulder, and as it came just in front of me, I swung, but I missed, of course. And I sort of started to spin around, so I let go of the bat, and the bat went flying, and then I lost my balance and sort of fell down in that, in infields they have that very dry, dusty dirt that sort of puffs up around you. And so I was sitting there kind of coughing and whatnot, but I get back up, and I come over, for the second pitch, and I get ready again, and I put the bat, and I hold it until the ball is coming through the air, and then I wait, and right as it's about to come in front of me, I swing, and I miss again. And I'm really nervous at this point because I was homeschooled at this time, and so all my friends were friends from church. So all of my friends were there, and all of my friends' parents were there. And my dad was over on the right side here, just behind the first base, and I could see him looking at me through the chain link fence. And the big thing to me then was I wanted to prove to everyone, to my friends and to my dad, and also just to myself that I could still do things, that I could play sports just like everyone else and just like I used to be able to do. And so it was very important to me that I get a hit. And so I waited for the next pitch. What was interesting was just before the next pitch, I heard my dad yell out to me. He said, "You can do it, Josh." So I looked over at him, and the ball came through the air, and right as it crossed in front of me, I swung, and I missed. And I fell down, of course, again, and I got back up, and I dusted myself off, and I picked up my crutches, and I started to walk off the infield. And Pastor Smulin, he was like, "Josh, where are you going?" And I was like, I struck out. And Pastor Smulin, he said, "We're Protestants, brother. We play by grace, not by the law." And that's a little theological humor. Pastor Smulin was into that stuff. And I was 9 years old, so I was like, "What is a Protestant? What do you?" I didn't understand anything you just said to me. But I figured out based on him laughing and everyone smiling that it meant I was allowed to come back up and to keep swinging. So I came back up and I picked up the bat again and I swung and I missed, but this time I did not fall down. I was able to put the bat down and catch myself before I fell. And so I swung again and again and again until I had gotten 9 strikes. And I started to see my vision blurring, and I knew I was about to cry, and I was 9 years old, and I couldn't let all my friends see me cry. So again, I picked up my crutches, and I started to walk off the field. And I don't know what my plan was, just to run away and hide. And then I heard my dad yell at me from behind that chain link fence. And he said, "You almost had that one left." He said, because you should know, he calls me Joshua. You might call me Josh. But he said, "Joshua, you almost had that last one." And I stopped as I was walking, and I looked over my shoulder at him, and he put his 2 fingers through one of the holes in the chain link fence. And he said, "It was this close." And I looked at him. My dad was my hero. I knew that if he were up to bat, that he would keep swinging until he got a hit. So I went back up to home plate, and I picked up the bat again. And another pitch came, and another strike, and another strike, and another strike. Finally, on the 13th pitch, I felt the ball bounce off the bat, and I watched it roll up the infield. And by the time it reached the shortstop's glove, my friend Tim, who was my designated runner, was already on first base. And that was a transformative moment for me in many ways. I think number one, because I proved to myself and to other people that I could still do things, but I learned that I could only do them with the assistance of the people who cared about me. With the assistance of Pastor Smulin, who gave me another chance when I thought everything was over. And with the assistance of my dad, who told me to keep swinging. And Tim, my friend, who ran for me when I was not physically able to run. So I look back on that day, I think, as sort of the start of what ultimately became my career as an athlete, as a ski racer.